Imagine having world-class architects, tech innovators, policy experts, education experts, business gurus knocking at your door, ready to contribute their skills and resources to grow your establishment, whether it's an organization or business or even could be a country, right? But you only literally invite them and you sit them at the reception. They never get to see the boss. They never get to be at any of the meeting rooms. They never get to join any employee or hands call. They just sit there in frustration until they get tired and they go back. That's exactly what is happening across Africa as we welcome our diaspora home. Today, we are diving into why Ghana's recent citizenship grants to over 500 African American African Americans, or I would say African diasporans, might be missing the bigger picture. Huge picture or huge thing that is missing in this whole conundrum or this whole glamorized, heavily televised episode of citizenship being granted to all these are brothers and sisters from the diaspora. And that is what today's episode is about. Right. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do me a great honor by subscribing to this channel. Take us, help us we want you to be a source of encouragement to us, in this case myself, as I churn out great and quality content, and I know you will do. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, so that anytime I come up with great content like this that is bound to inspire, to educate, right, and to motivate you, you will get that notification for that content. So without much ado, let's jump straight in. So you and I know that recently it's been all over the news. It's to me it's a wonderful thing, particularly coming from the backdrop of the very successful year of return, particularly for Ghana. And I think, if not all, many African countries must follow Ghana's lead in the area of diaspora engagement. It's so important. And I believe that Ghana, regardless of political parties and all these internal things, I think whoever implemented this vision did an awesome job. It's amazingly awesome. And many Africans, Nigeria could do that, Kenya, South Africa, many others should join in welcoming home our brothers and our sisters. Now, for me, that could be a topic that I would want to probably discuss at some point, maybe later on. But today's emphasis is not even about that, So it's not about the camaraderie. It's not about the cultural displays and things. It's not about the optics of it. I'm going to go into a part of this discussion that is seldom mentioned or seldom discussed. Very important part. This is the genesis of it. So it's estimated that in 2021, I think it's a World Bank report, estimated that Black people resident in America, and when I say Black people, I mean all shades. So whether they are Africans who migrated to America or African Americans or a combination of both, whatever it is, whatever the demographic classification of Black people are, they contribute $1.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars to the American economy per year as at 2021. This is when I saw it, I was shocked. $1.5 trillion per year. So the GDP of the Black people inside of America is that much. I don't know the total GDP of Africa per se, but I would say that piece alone probably would be maybe about half or more than half the entire GDP of Africa put together. There are countries that rely heavily on remittances from our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So I know countries like Nigeria, the contribution of remittances alone is about close to $20 billion a year. In Ghana, probably anywhere between $4 and $5 billion a year. Morocco, probably about $10 to $15 billion a year. And so you can see, and most of these remittances that come through into our African countries, they far exceed or they are greater than all foreign direct investments put together. That is, when we go out there begging and cajoling other foreign nationals to come and invest in our countries, the money is that actually coming. So money from the Chinese, from the European Union, from North America, and all have you, all that money put together is nothing compared to the remittances that we receive from our brothers and sisters who live in the diaspora. That's a fact. Number two, the second point is this. Most of the people or our brothers and sisters that, especially African Americans, that wants to come and have citizenship in Africa, in this case in Ghana, these are people who are high net worth individuals. So they are like, middle class to upper middle class people. The reason is this. Most of these people, their motivation to seek citizenship is that they seek a deeper connection with the continent. And it's accelerated by perceived poor treatment by their home countries, in this case in America. So perceived racism and discrimination, I would say, nepotism and, I would say disfavor, whatever classification that is, that racism, like police brutality and all that kind of thing. Abject discrimination and things. They are looking for opportunity. They've lived their life there. They've seen all the racism, they've seen the discrimination. They are tired of it. They are tired. It's like they've reached a point that they can't take it no more. You and I know that those who reach that point, if you are poor and poor and poor and poor, typically you don't have a choice as to the treatment that is meted out to you, whether fair or not fair. I will leave that discussion for other people more knowledgeable than I to have that discussion. But in the grand scheme of things, poorer people don't have much choice. It's only when you get money that now you have options. So these people have built their careers, they built their lives to the point where now they think they can have an option. They can have an option to live outside of America. They can have an option to not be discriminated against. So, for that matter, this demographic of people or this group of people who are seeking citizenship back in Africa are people who are highly educated, highly connected. They have deeper pockets. They have very, very deep experiences in their particular fields or domains. So these are not people that you can just easily gloss over. These are the people that are needed for any country or any environment's nation building. These are people who can build nations. So we've had a trove of them seeking. I even have a friend. I was going back and forth a day before yesterday, who saw an article about, I don't think it was true, a post on Instagram about the fact that any person, any African American, let me put it this way, that Ghana was granting citizenship to any African American or any black person, regardless of background, whatever it is. So he sent me that, and I said, no, I think that would not be accurate. So he should do his research well. But what do I say? Why do I say that? I say that to mean that there is that desire for people to take that step because of that sense of longing, that belonging. So let's recalibrate. We have people who are high net worth, who collectively contribute $1.5 trillion with a T to the American economy. We're just using American as an example. I know there are Black British people and other Blacks who would want to also, Caribbeans as well, who also want to have some kind of connection back to the continent of Africa. But I'm just using diasporans in the US as an example, right? So don't be offended if you are British. Don't be offended. All right. So these people, so assuming you have a funnel where a decent chunk of these people start resettling back in America, guess what is going to happen? They are remittances that are coming in. That's like, let's say $100 billion collectively. Let's say the whole of Africa. I saw a report that says like it was $93 billion in 2022. That's all remittances coming into Africa. Let's just say it's $100 billion, right? That's coming in. Then all of a sudden, our brothers and sisters, African Americans who want to come back on the country, they start coming in their droves. Trust me, that $100 billion that Africa as a whole is seeing as remittances inflows, remittances coming into their continent, that is probably going to quadruple. Because these are people who are playing with $1.5 trillion. So if we just get 10% of that inflow back in Africa, that is $150 billion extra added on top. If that number is 15%, that's like $200 billion. That will be huge. That could transform Africa massively. Okay, so let's put that on the side. But let's look at what actually happens on the ground in most African countries when our brothers and sisters from the diaspora come in to settle. What I see increasingly is that this, in as good as the step that Ghana took, granting citizenship and actually even the publicity, the PR, excellent. In as good as that is, this is not the first time Ghana has granted citizenship to other nationals, particularly from the diaspora. It's something that goes on every year. It's been going on for decades. It's just not had that shine and glow and in this era of social media and 24-hour news cycle. This just blown up well. It's great PR. But this is not the first time. It's happened decades. But I would want somebody to correct me. I may be completely wrong, but I'm not alone in this. I've spoken to a lot of friends trying to bounce off some of these ideas, and it's like we hold a consistent viewpoint on this. This is the viewpoint. I've never seen any African American who has become a citizen of Ghana, maybe Nigeria, maybe Kenya. I've never seen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who came in, got citizenship, and is serving in government, is serving in policy making, is serving in decision making. Anything that has to do with policy, decision making, leadership in the nation as a whole, I don't see them there. With all their deep knowledge, with all their massive experience, networks, deep pockets, great global insights, I don't see them sitting at the table. I don't see them. Okay, let me rephrase it. Wouldn't it be great to have, let's say somebody, I'll pick an avatar, right? Or let's pick a sample person, an avatar, right? Let's say somebody who worked at Wall Street for over 30 years, decided that, look, I've had enough of America. I want to come to Ghana. He's seen all the big deals on Wall Street, done all the big deals, all the acquisitions, the mergers, the all have financing and all these things. And he becomes a citizen of an African nation. And he's just happy that, hey, I'll be able to reconnect back to my roots. And that is it. That ends the story there. That is, to me, that's a travesty. That's leaving too much on the table. What if that person, even if they are not given political appointment, because I know that in Africa, political appointments typically are partisan. It's typically those who campaigned, who sweated, that are given political appointment. I actually did a video recently about how or why Africans in the diaspora must fight to get the right to vote. If you haven't watched that, please watch that video, particularly if you live in the diaspora. That video was a clarion call. They must. And there's a reason why I did that video. So I know appointments are made on a partisan campaign participation level. Okay, I know that. So wouldn't it be great for such a person that I described, who worked on Wall Street for like 30 years? Wouldn't it be great if that person was serving, if it's Ghana, was serving on the board of the Bank of Ghana or one of the board members? Because I know the board members are many, probably 10, 11, or even a dozen. Can we just have one or such people as part of the board? If not for, like, let's say cabinet appointment, maybe no, because it's partisan. But what about board of state institutions, like the education service, like utilities and regulatory power and utilities and regulatory commission, right? National Communication Authority, National Tourism or Tourism Board or Tourism Organization, institutions like that. Can't we have some of these super highly experienced, highly skilled people joining the boards of these people to contribute their quota or their skill to build the nation? I'm not asking much, but I'm just seeing that we bring these people in with all this fanfare, and that's the end of it. They just sit on the sidelines, and that's it. Some of them have lived in Ghana for 40 years, 30 years. All they do is they do their own private things. Typically, maybe they build some restaurant or some business here, small business here, and that's it. But they are not really, really, really integrated into the system whereby they can unleash their potential. And this is what really, really bothers me. And actually, if you have any experiences like this, I would want you to share in the comment section, because I want to learn. And many people want to learn about this as to why this is not happening, right? And for me, the crust is this. In my mind, there are two factors that contribute to lack of cohesion or assimilation of the African diaspora back on the continent. To me, there are two. There may be more, but this is me too. If you have more, put in the comment. I'll be interested to see. There are two. One is cultural connectivity or cultural assimilation, or that cultural gel. Our brothers and sisters from the diaspora, they don't know the culture that much. They don't know. Some of them know zero. They have a longing to be back, but there's that cultural disconnection, right? That's number one. Number two is trust, lack of trust. They want to come back, but they've seen all this story about the prince, the 419, the Nigerian prince, and all those kind of things that are perpetrated by the media. Some of them are unfounded, but some too have merit. So there are two things: lack of cultural connectivity, and then lack of trust. I believe, in as much as the cultural connectivity issue is big, I think a lot is being done in that area. Yes, much could be done, but something is being done there. So that could be solved. It will take a while, but that could be solved. And and but for the trust area, that is tough. That would take a long, long time to solve. But this is what can be done to catalyze the solution or to expedite the area of trust building. Let's rephrase it. So let's say this friend of mine who is a leadership expert, I know, top leadership expert, is an African American. He has a desire to connect back to the continent. I mean, it's just an insatiable desire. It's deep. I've been a friend with him for quite a while. His area, he does leadership coaching to all these big companies and everything. And let's say that person moves to live in Ghana, let's say 5 years from now. If that person, if this is my friend, were to, let's say, sit on the board of, I would say, let me just put anything at all, on the board of, let's say, what do you call it, education, or utilities, or anything that in his, you remember, this person has dealt with leaders from Fortune 500 companies, coaching them, executive coaching. If this person was to sit in there as part of, let's say, a team of, let's say, 12, 13 people who are also board members, let's say board of whatever state institution, what this is going to do is that all his friends back in America are going to know about it. That, oh, John, who we went to high school with, who we went to college with, who we spent 25 years working together in this, he's now in Ghana. He sits on the board of the bank, the biggest bank in Ghana. He sits on state decision-making board, helping to craft policy, putting his ideas on the table. What is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Immediately, he's going to lower the bar. All his friends are going to see, oh, wow, he's doing this thing there. Oh, wow, how can we also get involved? Or he just makes a phone call to his friend. Hey, I'm on the board of this company, this state institution. We're having this challenge, and I know you know somebody who can help solve this problem. What's going to happen? His friends are going to pick that phone call. Even if they can't solve it, they'll put him in contact immediately with the person or persons who could help solve that. What that results is accelerated national development. Sometimes it takes just one person. Sometimes even our nation, for instance, our national president, sometimes to even get access to, let's say, the US president or the British prime minister or whatever, it takes so much protocol. But some of these people may just be a phone call away from the president. So you can have the formal channels to reach the president or to reach maybe a secretary of state or secretary of commerce or whatever it is. You need to go through certain channels before you get it. But these people may have direct linkages that will help most of these African leaders bypass those kind of formal traditional channels and get access to whatever they want to, all because they had the right person sitting in the room with them. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. As for the cultural bit, yes, there are people who are doing, there are things that can be done there. There could be, ideas about people who can set up like communities where they will just share African culture, language, and things. And they will have a ton of people who will join because they want to know more about Africa. All those things are there. Cultural events that happen both on the continent of Africa and outside. The events held in Washington, D.C., New York, African cultural event, Africa fashion event. All those things are meant to connect us culturally. But the issue of trust is a big one, is the biggest one. Because trust is not easily solved. Even in families, when you have trust broken, it's very difficult to solve that. But this is one of the reasons, this is one of the ways by which trust can be broken, by letting the world know, making it visible that it's not just a cliche or just a slogan or anything, a year of return, but actually, yes, let's bring our brothers, let's invite them through the door, but also let's notice that it's not just about them joining, but because they are sitting on a treasure trove of finances, resources, and most importantly, knowledge and networks. And we haven't scratched the surface of that as a continent. So I want you to think about this, share your ideas, and let's know. And in this same vein, as building that connectivity, building that structure, building this cohesion, that and just want to chip in this, that we are starting a community for African diasporan professionals and experts. A community that connects these people to professionals and business owners and leaders back on the continent of Africa. And we have a platform that we're just starting this year called Find Diaspora Experts. And we join that community to share ideas, brainstorm, network, share best practices, with the aim of having the right network, right body of knowledge to transform Africa. And you can join us. It's free. So there will be a link to the description, a link in the description that will take you to Find Diaspora Experts. Basically, it's finddiasporaexperts.com. Go there and be a part of this new community. With that said, I'll end by saying this, that if Africa can genuinely, trustingly begin to bring our resources back on the continent, that would be spectacular. That would be amazing. And one of the things that really even baffles my mind, I don't think it's a bias against African Americans coming into Africa. I don't think it's really a bias, because it goes deeper than that. Let me just, I was going to, but it goes deeper than that. Even Africans who were born, raised, educated on the continent. I know people who were born, went to high school, went to primary school, high school, went to college on Africa, and left Africa to pursue, let's say, a master's program and PhD, got some great experience and desire to come back home. They face these same roadblocks. The same. Their expertise typically are ignored. The system chokes them out, frustrates them out. It's only the tough and the resilient that decide, come hell or high water, they will stay. Those are the people who stay and become successful. But the overwhelming majority, they will come in with the mind that they are going to help, which is not a great mindset. You come in you're going to hustle to find your place. To me, that's how I look at it. You come in with the mindset, I'm also going to hustle to create space for myself. If you come in with that mindset, I think your chances of making it are higher than coming in with the mindset you're coming to help. So they face the same roadblocks. They have all this expertise. They have all this. Nothing. But for them, I say your ticket is your ability. And I want you to watch that video about voting rights for diasporans. Their ticket is the ability to have the ability to vote in the diaspora. If they get that opportunity to vote, most of their problems in this area will disappear or will be minimized. Lack of voting rights causes their voices not to be heard and their expertise to be cancelled by their home, their African country of African heritage. So with that said, if you still haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe so that I keep bringing out great content like this. Thank you for your time, and watch my other video about voting rights. I want you to watch that. Thank you so much for your time. See ya.